great seeing all your faces. I will call the meeting to order. First item on the agenda is public comments. I assume that you did not get anything in writing, Jeanette, is that correct?
Nothing came by 4 o'clock.
Okay.
Nothing came after 4 o'clock either.
There are no additions to the agenda. So next would be the liaison reports. First, Board of Selectmen, David Lober. David, we moved up there. Okay, great.
Here I am. I'm here. Yeah. So I only have 2 items which pertain to human services. One you already know about. That was the approval of the Residence Assistance Fund by the Board of Selectmen. So that is all ready to go. And I think Tony Genovese is taking the lead on that. And the other thing, which I just found out, which is interesting, the COVID incidence has diminished to a point where if it continues to stay where it is until Thursday, the boards and commissions can choose to meet in person if they wish.
Is that right, David? Because we were told 3 weeks in the gray, in the yellow, and this Thursday will only be the second week. So I think it has to go one more week after this Thursday.
I have a letter from Betsy Agla on the 28th.
Okay.
I could check it and see if I read it wrong, but that was my takeaway.
Probably it means boards and commissions for the next month can choose for December, because they did write to all the department heads to tell us 3 weeks in the yellow. But yeah, double check and get back to me. That would be awesome.
Okay, I'll do that.
Certainly good news that we're moving in the right direction, right?
Right. Yep.
Excellent. Okay, thank you very much, David. Are there any questions for David? Okay, all right. Dwight, would you please give us the Board of Finance report?
Yep, just really one item. We're getting ready for the budgets. Operating, and our first meeting with the operating budgets is going to be Thursday, December 2nd. So we're going to be meeting 2 or 3 nights jointly with the Board of Selectmen as we go through that. So, and I know all the commissions have been working on their operating budgets as you have been. I just saw in the packet tonight. So, okay, so that's what we've been working on, getting ready for.
Thank you. Any questions for Dwight? Okay. Next item would be the minutes of the October 4th meeting. Kathy and Viviana were not present, so once we make a motion to accept, they won't be able to vote. Okay. Just has everybody had a chance to read the minutes, and are there any corrections? If there are none, then I'll need a motion to accept the minutes.
Also move.
Okay, Arnie, a second.
Second.
Lauren, okay. There will have to be a roll call vote here. Jennifer? Jennifer, do you approve the motion?
She's muted. She said yes.
Okay, did she say yes? Okay. Arnie?
Yes.
Pat?
Yes.
Lauren?
Yes.
And myself. Okay. Motion carried.
The others can vote. They just have to abstain. Abstaining is, they just have to abstain. They're voting, but they're not voting yes or no. They're just abstaining.
Well, exactly.
Okay, so it'll be, what do we have? 4-2, 4-0-2. Okay, 4-0-2. So 4 in favor, 0 opposed, and 2 abstaining.
And then, right, we had 2 people who are absent this evening too. So, okay.
Right. Perfect.
All right. Thank you for that clarification. Next item on the agenda is the 6-year capital improvement budget.
Hey, everybody. So in your packet, you would have received the budget. Pat and Susan and I met to discuss what was in there. This is the capital improvement, capital budget. We will be doing the operating budget closer to January, but this is capital now. So you'll notice things have moved around a little bit. Even Pat will notice something that was in there when we met is gone, but this is a very good thing. We had put $500,000 into the capital improvement budget for FY23 for air handling. It had been in there last time. We moved it up to 23 from 22. We put $50,000 additionally for design of an HVAC system. I was told, Pat, you would have seen $20,000. I was told to put $50,000 as it represents 10% of the total project should be in design. And then when I met with Tony after I met with Susan and Pat, I was told the great news that we believe the ARPA funds, the American Rescue Plan Act funds, will cover the entirety of the installation, and that Brad has been asked from building maintenance to put the design of the project in his budget. So it won't come out of our budget. For now, that's the plan. We always wait to see when the other shoe falls, what happens. But for now, it's out of our budget, and we won't be presenting a request for the HVAC. That will go in building maintenance. We will have a cover letter when this is submitted on Friday, and it will model a letter Mary Ellen wrote several years back in favor of building maintenance putting our renovation into their budget. And so I have that letter. I'm going to model her behavior and just say, the Human Services Commission and staff is fully in support of the building maintenance design budget for the HVAC project. And so the cover letter, which is not in your packet because it's still being written, because changes seem to happen every day, will present that we are in full support of that HVAC project. And I believe that everyone here is in full support of Woodbridge Human Services not paying for the design without having to vote on it. So what is there? What is not there? I've just gone over what is there is important. We've moved the request for a vehicle from 2025 back or forward earlier to 2023. The vehicle that was given to us from the police department, and we're very grateful for that, but it was given to us rather than the $35,000 we had requested for purchase of a vehicle through a state program at a reduced rate. That vehicle has now got close to 175,000 miles on it, and built and the Public Works Department maintenance is telling us that it needs a bit of work. We think the work can be done. We think that we can move along with it, but we also think that come next July, we're going to need another car. This is a 2008 that we were given. And if that's the way the town is going to move forward, that we're going to get a leftover car from police department each time we make a request, then they're going to be aware that it's going to last, 1, 2, 3 years. And it's not what a new car would last. And so Tony advised us to move it up, to keep it in the budget. Our request is for a new car for $35,000 through the state program. However, we're really willing to accept another car from the police department. And what I understand is that may have been the very last Crown Victoria that they had, and that if they do replacement of vehicles, it's likely going to be a more modern SUV, probably more recent than 2008. Maybe we'll get into the teens and that would be awesome. As long as we're willing to accept the vehicle, as long as it is accessible for seniors to climb into. We really can't have a vehicle that's too high or too difficult. So that's the first request, and that would come wholly out of the town's budget. There's no grants involved in that. Second request, we are off to FY26. We don't have a request in 24 or 25 right now. We assume that in FY25 we'll be applying for the 5310 grant, state Department of Transportation 5310 grant, which is also a federal grant that is operated by the State Department of Transportation, and that we will apply as our, what used to be our new van is now our older van, because we got a new van in 2020, and that van will go to being 10 years old that year. So as soon as it gets to 10 years old, we'll probably apply for a van to replace it. It's hard to say right now what condition that van will be in and whether we'll apply in 25 or 26, but we're planning at 10 years to apply for the grant. We're planning to be granted a grant to receive a new vehicle, and there is a matching fund requirement for those grants. So I've put in the budget as a placeholder, because we're not entirely sure what year, but as a placeholder, $15,000 to be the matching funds on the, it's a $65,000 van. Our last van we got in 2020 actually came up to about 71,000, but the town had enough to cover that, and we just had added a few safety features. So that's our matching fund in there. And then, as you all remember, whoever has been on the commission, Mary Ellen had put in here for a carport to match the carports that the police department have, but it would just be a 3-vehicle carport. We've upped the price by 2% a year, basically to cover the increase in cost. And we're just keeping that in here, but we're not asking the town, because it's, you know, we're getting a lot with what we are asking for in the next couple of years with the redesign and indoor outdoor areas, and we just don't want to put too much pressure on the town's budget to ask for something right now. So we're in good faith pushing that off a little bit, but keeping it in the scope of things, and we can bring it forward or push it back as we see it needed. So that's the extent of our request. It's certainly very modest. I looked at other years for other departments, and they are in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. We again come in as the, you know, just asking for, you know, what is necessary and not going over the top. I hope there's some discussion, or anybody have questions?
I have a question. You know, in the spirit of not asking too much, but I wonder if that $15,000 is enough.
In terms of matching funds, what we can do as we get closer is adjust for inflation. But right now, the matching funds for the vehicle we got before was at 13,000. So this past year is at 13,000. The town had budgeted, and you know, using that 2%, we've actually upped it quite a bit. I just threw a couple $1,000s at it. It's a placeholder, whether it's 14,000 or it's 17,000. It's in there. It gets into the Board of Finance understanding that we will be doing this again at that time, and they helped us last time, and it's basically what our protocol calls for.
Thank you.
Janine, can I jump in here for a second?
Yeah.
You're probably not going to get everything that you ask for, so I would recommend asking for more than you expect to get, if you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, except, you know, we're already getting what we asked for, which is HVAC, a ramp remediation, and that's not right now in this discussion, and the center through grants. And so again, being good citizens here, good residents, there aren't a lot of projects we need that aren't covered in the grants that we're already getting. And I understand, we only really need what we need in each year. We can't, we can't change that. And I understand that, other departments have needs, and so I understand what you're saying, but I'm not good at bluffing.
Well, so here's the thing. There was an issue with the Amity Woodbridge Historical Society, and they knew that they had some repairs to do, and they budgeted for it, and then they found some more repairs that they needed to do, and they had a grant that they could get, and the grant needed to be matched, and the board said, well, we don't have any money budgeted for that, and they were kind of left hanging on that. Now I think that will be finessed. I think they're going to do a promise for the matching funds so that they can apply for that grant. But I'm just saying, if you need something and you think you don't need it now, like a car or a van or something like that, and all of a sudden you need one, you're not going to have money for it. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, well, the plan includes the vehicles we need, and the rest of the things we need are less than $5,000 a piece. So I think we're good in our operating budgets to ask what we need.
Okay.
I think this is a very bad year to be asking for a lot. They asked us to imagine a zero-based budget. So I'm thinking that it's not a good year to start with new things. And I'm not sure I understand the relationship with the Historical Society well enough, as I don't think that they are a town department. They are quasi-public, quasi-private group, and matching funds, in my opinion, are not required of the town. So,
but the town owns the property. That's
yeah.
Right.
So the town has to maintain the property.
Sure, but we're a town department, and they are a not-for-profit organization. So a little bit different, but I get your gist. And again, we have these grants, and so
Sure.
I'm hopeful that the grants will cover our needs. And now we're being gifted the ARPA funds for the HVAC, which is above and beyond what we were hoping for when we planned for this a few years ago. We planned to try and maximize our grant money to try and cover the HVAC, and costs have risen, and there's no way we could include HVAC in our grant renovation project. So this is just, thank you, federal government. We are very grateful.
And I'm thinking, in a sense, it's kind of the best of times and the worst of times, because our project has been so long in coming to fruition that finally we do have several grants, and it looks like it is going to be covered, right? So I think that I hear what you're saying, David, but I also do think,
Right.
okay.
Thank you, David, for having our back, though.
Yes.
We
Yes.
really appreciate that, and we'll really hope to get a new car or a used car next year. So if they can vote on the car, that they would approve it, and then if we don't need it because the police department has it, because if they say, oh, they'll get one from the police department, and then if the police don't have it to give to us, then we're without a car, and we're without a department swap on a vehicle. So they really need to approve the vehicle, and then we'll save the town $35,000 if Chief Cappiello can find us a car. So it can't be, oh yeah, they're going to get that car. So we are asking for the car. We're actually asking for a car, not a swap from another department. We're asking for the car. So if you and Dwight can keep that in your mind, that we need that car, and hopefully later on we'll save the $35,000 with the chief finding us one that he's decommissioning.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah.
Jeanette, where we had talked about the fact that doing that the whole building, HVAC. Is that now within the scope of the project? The entire building is being done, not just our part of it?
So 3 zones, and I don't know if now is the time to talk about this or not, but I will. 3 zones, the gym, the lower level senior center, and the second floor, including the child care center, but not the police department. Apparently, what's in the police department is good to go for a little while, and they don't want to adjust that. So 3 zones, 3 designs, or 1 design, 3 parts. That's why the design of it doesn't belong in the senior center project, because certainly, the senior center is not going to be responsible for design that covers the child care center or the gym. So it's best that the design will go into building maintenance's plan.
But the project scope is the whole thing,
Indeed.
except the police department.
And the only thing I might have a caveat here and say is that if it's in the 2023 budget, it means July 2022, which, as you know, right now we're working without a senior center. So if part of that can be done, the lower level can be done while the construction, I mean, I know Dwight understands the whole engineering of this and I don't, but if ductwork and all of that needs to be done at the exact same time as the construction, then well, the ARPA funds are here, but I have no problem with our being able to finesse part of the design out of the construction project so as not to hold us up for 9 months. That said, my hope is the town will be able to cover it and then, put it into building maintenance's budget whenever it's needed. But my hope is not to wait for a senior center HVAC until July, and it's a good question, Pat. Really good question. It right now, like I said, things change every day. But I'm hopeful that the Board of Finance, Board of Selectmen will go ahead and find money for the design of the senior center part, and that part can move ahead. And as David Stein from Silver Petroselli said, the days of putting a giant unit on the roof are passé. Things happen in zones. It would be smaller units for each of the zones, and the senior center being in the basement would not be a unit on the roof. So we could get that sort of somewhere next to the building, and that could be done independently of the whole 3 zones. Just start with one, and then, because the ARPA funds are here, and I know that they can get started with it as soon as the design is ready.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Jeanette,
Yes, Dwight.
one thing I was going to mention is it's going to be feasible to bid it and have it all done at one time. Sign it and then award it to one contractor at one time. Now we can sequence the work and target the senior center to be the utmost importance as we work on the other ones. But to split them up and say, okay, we're going to do the senior center one, then we're going to do another one for the, and then it's going to cost a lot more money. So economically, it'll be a lot cheaper to design it all, bid it as one as one contract, but split it up into 3 separate sections for that contractor, and then we can sequence the work accordingly.
That's why I'm so grateful you're in the room when they make these decisions.
No, it's a lot easier for us to do that, and it's cheaper for everybody.
That's what we're looking for.
So, okay, I just wanted to mention that to you. So,
If there
Low
are.
cost. Yep. Low cost, but not cheap.
Mhm. And not a long wait, right?
That's what Christy says.
Right. If there are no other questions, then I will need a motion to accept the 6-year capital improvement budget that will be submitted on Friday. Somebody like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to
Okay, Kathy,
support the 6-year budget proposal.
Kathy, and a second?
Second.
Lauren?
Sure.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we'll do a roll call vote here. Jennifer? Arnie?
Yes.
Viviana?
Yes.
Pat?
Yes,
Lauren?
Yes.
Kathy?
Yes.
And myself, yes. Okay,
Great.
next on the agenda, Christy, will you please give us the Woodbridge Center report?
Sure. As was mentioned earlier, the COVID positivity rate has come down in Woodbridge. 2 Thursdays ago, it was in the yellow, and last Thursday it was in the gray. So as such, we're able to resume card playing and mahjong finally. And October's been a very busy month at the center. We had our Medicare seminar in person and our back pain presentation on Zoom. And we were fortunate to have Julie Averbach give a virtual art tour on the Museum of Modern Art. Julie is a Yale student, she's a senior. She has a double major in art history and psychology. And she took a year off from her studies to create a program that provides these art tours to those who are primarily 60 and over to help combat loneliness and isolation. Her thesis is on the psychological effect that art has on primarily this age group. So she's able to offer us these tours as part of her research for her thesis. And it was a wonderful art tour. Everyone thoroughly enjoyed it. It sparked a very lively conversation afterwards on the art that was shown as part of the tour. And everyone's looking forward to the next tour that Julie's going to give on November 5th of the Metropolitan Museum of Art. And then on October 28th, last Thursday, we had our Halloween health fair with a lunch to go. It was the first time that the center had an in-person event since the start of the pandemic. And it was a really wonderful event. It was very festively decorated. Jeanette and Ellen helped with the decoration, and the vendors and attendees alike really enjoyed the event. We had a lot of positive feedback. One of our clients wasn't able to make it. She thought it was a drive-through. So we sent a lunch and the materials from the lecture to her house later. And she sent an email a little bit later that I'd like to share. She said, "I heard earlier today that it was National Chocolate Day. And I was thinking I had none on hand with which to celebrate. That is until you called and the delivery was made. Thanks so much. You guys are so thoughtful. And I'll read all the literature tomorrow, I promise." So that's just an example of how appreciated it was by those that attended and the few that weren't able to make it. We also have a lot of activities and events planned for November. And unfortunately, the Woodbridge Town News didn't run the senior center article, so feel free to share the information with everyone. Nancy was able to obtain a couple of student volunteers from Amity to help on Tuesdays and Thursdays with seniors who struggle to use their computers or laptops. There will just be our client and the matched volunteer in the computer lab at a time. So it'll just be the two of them in there at a time. And our beginner bridge class will start on November 3rd. It was delayed from mid-October due to the COVID positivity rate being elevated at that time. Local artist Carol Abate will start a 6-week painting for pleasure class. She will be filling in for Graham Dale, who's still out, unfortunately. And then AAA will offer their first in-person program, the driver improvement class, on November 15th. And that's the first one since pre-pandemic as well. And then on November 18th, Hamden Rehabilitation and Healthcare Center will offer a Thanksgiving Centerpiece. Thing that they our clients can make. They'll provide all the materials and instruction so everyone can make one for Thanksgiving. And we also have a couple of events that are planned in November. The center's collaborating with the library to provide a cultural immersion program on November 12th. This will be led by Rita Wagner. Rita came here to Connecticut from Uganda by way of Fairbanks, Alaska. So she will share the vast differences and living in these two different cultures, along with the traditions from her homeland. And then on November 18th, we're going to have a Thanksgiving drive-through luncheon with the traditional feast from Lassie's. And this will be sponsored by the Woodbridge Police Union, the Willows, Coachman, and the Linden. We're really grateful to these sponsors and so many other of the local businesses that continue to sponsor us. They really enable us to be able to broaden our what we're able to offer our clients. So we're really appreciative. And as far as staffing, we recently found out that Michael Angelo's last day driving for the transportation program will be on November 18th. So an ad for that position will be posted on the town's website and on Indeed in the next few days. And unfortunately, we only received one application for the kitchen coordinator job posting. So that position will be reposted with the goal of starting the new hire in January or February. The job will start as 1 day a week, and it will advance to 2 days a week after the renovation. And in the meantime, Rose Marcasano has expanded her role as a driver in the transportation program to help for 2 hours on Tuesdays with the lunch delivery program. Rose has helped on many occasions in the kitchen on various events that we've had at the center during her time that she's been employed by the town. She's a fast learner, she's really thorough, and she's already taken over the role that Ellen was previously handling in the meal programs. And at this time, the plans to have Rose continue even after the kitchen coordinator job is filled, as the lunch delivery program continues to increase. If you saw in my rent report under the stats, the lunches went from 167 in September to 249 in October. And the soups also increased from 31 to 101 during that same time period. So it continues to increase. And we started this meal program immediately after the pandemic started in March, when we had to shut our doors at the center. And we realized that it was really important we realized that our clients may have difficulty in obtaining food. So the meal delivery program went into place. And at that time, we set the price at $5, as it seemed to be a reasonable price and close to the $5.25 that we're being charged from Jewish Senior Services. As this program has continued to grow, we would like to increase the cost to our clients of the meals to $5.25 per meal effective January 1st to help cover the difference that the center has taken on. And I'll bring this price increase to vote at the December meeting. So does anyone have any questions about that? No. And then last, as far as outreach, the center continues to do extensive personal outreach to our clients to keep them informed of program changes that have occurred and new programs that have started. Jess has been here now 6 months as of October, and she's done a lot of that outreach and has just done a wonderful job in her position. She's fast, she's thorough, she's able to realize what needs to be done without being asked, and she's developed a really good rapport with our clients. Emails and personal cards and other personal birthday cards and other occasional cards we continue to send out, and it's really important to our clients to continue this this outreach and maintain these connections. A couple of our clients have said that it's been the only birthday card that they've received. And many of our clients call to express their appreciation for receiving the various cards that they do receive. Does anyone have any questions?
Nice work.
I'd like to say that it was great reading the numbers as they climb. Really excellent. I need a motion to accept if there are no questions or any comments.
I'll make a motion to accept the October 2021 Woodbridge Center report.
Second,
Pat, okay. Jen? I can't,
Jen, we couldn't hear you.
Jen, can't hear you. Are you?
No, we're still not getting any volume.
Not getting any volume. Maybe she can type. Where? Thumbs up or thumbs down? Thumbs up. Okay, thumbs up. Okay. Arnie?
Yes.
Viviana?
Yes.
Yes. Pat?
yes.
Lauren?
Yes.
Kathy?
Yes.
And myself. Okay, good. Okay, next item, Nancy, would you please give us the youth services report?
Hi, thank you. Yes, I wanted to mention that our new person, Sarah Pearson, started as the program coordinator in youth services, and she's been here about 2 weeks now, doing a great job. Jumped right in, and we're just keeping really busy. She's doing some training, and she also helped tremendously with treat bags for all of the kids at the middle school, and she's really been helpful. And she actually rearranged her hours so that she could attend our home alone courses. So I think it's going to be really wonderful to have some help. I'm looking forward to, spending more time with training and getting into some, other programming. Our other positions that still remain open are the program assistants. So that would be for after school or evening programs. And we need, normally we have 4 more program assistants, and we only have 1 regular right now. So we really, it makes it hard to run a program if we don't have people to count on. We have 1 or 2 persons 2 persons on our per diem staff. So we look to them for help, but we are still looking. 1 person did contact me. I've been putting it in the school newsletters. 1 person contacted me. I sent her the job description, told her what the hourly rate was, and have not heard back. So it's just a concern. It doesn't pay a lot, and most of these people are used to making more money, but it is it's an occasional thing. We don't do them every week, so we're hoping to get some more activity around that. And Sarah would be supervising those people at our programs. Home Alone. So we had 11 kids signed up for the Home Alone program. It was a 2-day class. We did it on 2 Tuesdays. So Sarah did attend. So she was great with helping with sign in and, getting snacks out to the kids and kind of watching over. And so I spoke to the kids about house rules, fire safety emergencies, calling 911, answering the phone, and nutritious snacks. And the second day, Vinnie Lynch came, Officer Vinnie Lynch, and he also talked to the kids about what actually happens when you call 911. And they were able to ask him lots of questions. And, he's just so well loved by the kids. So they really, really pay attention when he's talking. And the kids did evaluation forms, and all the evaluations really came in with some really nice comments. And it really shows me from what they say how much they actually got out of the class. And one mother actually did come back and tell me that her son just had so many things to tell her. And she said, of course, it brought up a lot of concerns for her. And I said, that's exactly what I asked them to do, is go home and talk to their parents about the concerns that they have, and go through some scenarios with parents, because it's really important. So parents got a parent pack in the folder as well as a child pack. So hopefully parents and kids are spending a little time talking about their house rules and what would happen if. So it's important.
Nancy, Can I
Yes.
interrupt for a second? Jen put a question in the chat for you. If you could just answer her question on the
Let's see.
hours and rate for program assistance.
Oh,
It's 1504.
1507, I think it is.
1507.
Yeah, and the hours vary. Normally a program goes anywhere from, 2 hours to 4 hours that they would be responsible for, because we set up and we clean up. And that would be, they might work once a month, once every other month. So it's really not many hours. And we did lose several people during COVID. Well, we didn't really have programming much during COVID, so it was hard. Other people looked to, other things to help them make money. So no
Nancy,
place. Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, I have a question.
That's all right.
Is it a question that nobody is expressing interest? Or they express interest and then they find what the salary is and they,
The few
Yeah.
people who did reach out, I think it might have been the salary, because, when I send it, they tend to, they tend to let it go away. It doesn't pay a lot. I have job bank kids who make more, honestly. So it's a concern. I mean, it's, when we try to do a review of other towns, if someone else works at another town, oftentimes, they make minimum wage, but, if minimum wage is going to be 15 an hour, then someone who has worked for us for several years, it's hard to look at $15 an hour and not think you should, that you deserve more. I think there's a lot of responsibility that goes along with it. They're really, they take a lot of care and they're really creative. We come together, we usually have a meeting and we talk about everybody's ideas and it's great to brainstorm with the other members, because then we come up with ideas together. So it's been a while since we've been able to do that, honestly, but I'm hoping with COVID, maybe things will improve, especially if kids start getting vaccines, because it's really
I
important.
have a sort of an out of the box, probably very silly idea, but I'll throw it out there in terms of how to try to get people. This is a town that's known for its participation, parent participation in the schools as volunteers.
Oh, we use volunteers, Arnie.
yeah.
We can't
Well,
run it
what
without volunteers.
Okay. Well, one thing I was sort of suggesting is change the frame and say, well, it's a volunteer job, but we do provide an honorarium of $15.07. But essentially call it a volunteer job. There might be more people who would look at it as something that they're interested in doing because they participate in so many other school-related activities for nothing, for their kids' classroom, for this or that, parent teachers organization, what have you. And I'm just thinking sometimes if you say, well, here's a job, but we pay you next to nothing, it might be easier to say, well, you're really volunteering.
Well,
We have a little bit of money that we could give to you. The people don't do it for the money. They
many
do
of
it
us
for
have
the,
called ourselves paid volunteers, honestly, but
yeah.
we do budget for staff, and we still need volunteers on top of that. So if someone's a great volunteer, definitely I would reach out, definitely. Since we haven't had regular programming over the last 2 years, really, so it's hard to know. But we also need volunteers as well. So normally we try to get between 10 and 15 volunteers beside our staff. So if we paid everybody, then, we wouldn't have budgeted enough.
All right,
But thank
I
you. No,
fully understand it then.
absolutely. If we have a good volunteer, that would be the first person I'd call.
Okay.
Well, actually, a mom who came in to sign up her child for Home Alone, she's actually coming in to volunteer to sort food this week. So
So
anyone we can find. Yes.
so Nancy, is the impediment not so much the pay rate as it is your regularity or not very many hours, so you just don't make any money?
Yeah. Now, some people, when they only are per diem, I mean, we had a person on staff. He also DJ'd, and if he got a better offer, it was just easy for him to say no. And then he just, he had a baby through COVID. And so he's really busy now. So he wasn't able to come back. Somebody else started a little cupcake business. So she's not able to come back because she's doing something else. So people have different reasons. I think part of it is because we start oftentimes with parent volunteers and sign them up when their child leaves the middle school or the high school. They tend to, want a full-time job at that point because they're paying for college. So,
Right.
which is what I did. But yeah, we did the volunteering for quite a while. Jeanette will tell you she's done the same thing.
I'll just remind you all, I started here as a volunteer for Nancy's program. So some of us stick around. I think it's an excellent idea, Arnie. And certainly the very best of the volunteers, when we have a program and we see we can offer them to come in and get a little training and then run the programs as the paid people. And yeah, maybe they'll leave in 2 years when their kid ages out, but maybe we could get them to stick around a little bit more if we put it to them. Boy, you're really helping us out. Would you like to get a little stipend while you do this and commit to coming to each program? I
Right.
think it's an excellent idea, Arnie.
Especially those parents that you see at everything. They're just the same parents at PTO. And I'm going to PTSO meetings now. Sarah will attend with me this week. And the parents that we see regularly, they're definitely the ones that we will target. Thank you. Good
Thinking
idea.
outside the box is a good idea, right?
That's right. That's
So-
where we start.
Right.
Anyhow,
Thank you.
If there are no other questions and discussion, I'll need a motion to accept Nancy's.
Oh, I wasn't finished.
Oh, I'm
sorry.
sorry. Sorry,
That's
sorry.
okay. That's okay. We were just talking about staffing. So the No Place for Hate, I think I brought it up last month that the Amity School District in general is trying to achieve the status of a No Place for Hate school district. We have worked with ADL for several years, but the school has a grant now. So the School Climate Committee, I've always attended that. And so now the School Climate Committee is working with the students to create programs with ADL. And so we can help, buy supplies and work with them and direct the students, but the students are actually doing the programming. So it should be interesting this year to see through the advisory meetings that the kids have when the students actually do some training and they talk about No Place for Hate. We are really hoping that, through peer contact, I think more kids will listen. So we're hopeful, and I'm curious to see where this is going to go. ADL will work with us throughout the year to, kind of direct us, but I think it's going to be a great idea for kids to really, to have it hit home. They will be more involved. So I think that's going to be interesting. So that since we're not paying so much for ADL, we'll have money for internet safety. And I have reached out to the middle school to just get scheduling because we have recommended internet safety. We have the money to pay for it. And so that and the vaping prevention program, I have talked to Trisha Dahl, who's the researcher at Yale, and she's ready and waiting to do these programs. So I just need some scheduling back from the middle school. We did help with providing costume contest prizes for pep rallies this past week at the middle school. And also we provided bags for Halloween treats. And I have to say, I wasn't sure if I was going to survive the attack of the kids coming out and grabbing candy. You'd think they never ate candy before. It was amazing and a little scary at the same time. They were just so excited after the pep rallies, I think. But it was fun. We are assisting Toys for Kids at Team in Derby. They are a social service agency. So we will put a box for toys in the library and I'll put one here in youth services as well. They are really looking for financial sponsorships and people can get on their website and they can do applications on their website if they want toys. And they can also, there's a link right through the website to find out how to order through Amazon if you want to just order a toy for someone. And I highly recommend it. They do a great job and they do cover Woodbridge children as well. And we will be working with Shop with a Cop again. I think last year we got about 3 gift cards from them. They're not doing the in-person shop with a cop, which is really sad because we were hoping for that this year. But again, due to COVID, they can't do it in person. So I will work with Vinnie Lynch to try to get some referrals. But he has some ideas for kids, and I said, well, they still have to be income eligible, so we need to be working with them. So I'll submit some names for that. And we will be working on getting Facebook up and running. Sarah created an account, and we just gotta, we're gonna look at some photos together and get that looking nice so we can spread the word on that. And Job Bank still needs kids to do outdoor work. I'm still hopeful that we get a few more. So I just got an email today, and we will be working on getting community service for these kids just to come in and sort some of the food that was dropped off here on Saturday by the Scouts. So we have a few people coming, adults actually coming this Wednesday, and hopefully we'll get some kids too. So I think that's all I have.
Nancy,
Any questions?
100 apologies for cutting you off.
That's okay.
Realize that all this wonderful programs and all the things. So
That's okay.
anyhow, are there any questions? Before yes, Kathy,
Kathy, yes.
we can't hear you.
You're muted, Kathy.
You're muted.
Did you get enough food
Did we get enough food?
from the Scouts?
I'll report on that a little later.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Jeanette's going to cover that. Thanks.
So could I have a motion to accept Nancy's report?
Also move.
Okay.
I'll second. I'll
Okay.
second.
Viviana, second. Okay. By roll call, Jennifer? Oh. Okay, she can't hear. Arnie?
Yes.
Okay. Viviana?
Yes.
Pat?
Yes.
Lauren?
Yes.
Kathy?
Yes.
And myself, yes.
It looked like Jen was saying yes.
Jen? Yes, yes. Okay, good. All right. Okay, Jeanette, would you please give us Human Services report?
Sure. So we've spent a lot of time with flu clinics, and that's morphed now into booster clinics. The flu clinics covered, we had 2 sessions. We had some appointments that weren't filled, but for the most part, we had over 100 people get their flu shots here at the gymnasium, which was terrific. And many thanks to the Orange VNA and the VNA Healthcare and Hospice of Guilford and Hamden. We did a great suicide prevention training. The staff all took it, and we had Kathy was there and another member of the community. But so I wouldn't say it was well attended, but it really was good, useful, great conversation. And then it was followed by a little scene acting out that we all participated in, and I think that drove home the message of how you can end up at someone's funeral having had everyone at the funeral say, oh, he reached out to me and I didn't pick up on it. And these were all the cues that everyone would have missed. And so it really did help us sort of listen better, I think, when people are talking. I think it's excellent. It's a good topic for September, which is Suicide Prevention Month. And I think what we'll do is at least schedule some programming every September to make sure that the community starts thinking about the topic and can participate, because this was excellent. And beside that, we're moving into the COVID booster shots. We've reached out to our olders, those who are 75 plus, who got their original vaccines through the Woodbridge Center in January of 2021 and February for their second vaccine. We've had 2 clinics, one clinic last Wednesday, one clinic this Wednesday in North Haven. And this Thursday, the 4th, we'll have a clinic here in Woodbridge. providing a choice between Moderna and Johnson and Johnson. We do not have access to the Pfizer. And actually QVHD was unable to get us enough vaccinators to make this as big a clinic as we were hoping for. We ended up finding I sent out an email blast to the nurses I know, and one of them volunteered her husband, who's a doctor. And so we got extra appointments just today that he can cover at the clinic. So we're really grateful for community support for this event. So we'll start boosters on Thursday. We'll have a second booster clinic on November 13th, which is a Saturday. And we've started taking requests for that, although we don't have time slots yet because they haven't assigned the number of vaccinators we'll have for that clinic. We have a waiting list. We have our spreadsheets going. So if you know anyone who qualifies or is interested in coming to Woodbridge, please have them reach out to us. In the meantime, we are getting people into vaccine booster shot appointments in North Haven. Pat got his appointments. We sent a link over and he was able to get them. It is, also very easy to go to the CVS and Walgreens websites and plug yourself in if you qualify for those booster shots. And now there's a walk-in clinic at Griffin and a CVS in, I want to say Ansonia, but it might be Derby. No appointments needed. If you qualify, you walk in, no wait, no nothing, and you can go get a booster. So we're helping people into whatever works for them. If they have no transportation, Christy is providing transportation, and we're making this work. So that. Are there any questions about the vaccines or okay? Holiday baskets. Ellen is deep and into this with Judy. It looks like we'll be in the mid 30s, but these numbers change as people finally respond to us. Be in the mid 30s for a number, I think, could go as high as 40. The Rotary Club will provide a pie and a $50 gift card to Stop and Shop to each of the qualifying residents. And we did receive a very generous donation from Bailey Moore Schaefer, Glazer and Proto LLP of $750 that went directly to the Rotary to offset this expenditure. So very lucky for our community support. This is, truly terrific. And then we'll move into the December holiday baskets. The donors have stepped up. We're identifying all the donors. The recipients are responding. We need, it's more than just, we've identified a family of 4, because now we have the Friends of the Library saying, what age level reading are these kids, so that we can provide appropriate books for them. And then the pajama folks are saying, what size are these kids and genders, so that we can provide appropriate pajamas for them. It's become such a community effort. It's really, truly terrific. And so, Ellen's deep in this. Donations are coming in. People are walking in with gift cards, and that is very appreciated. Questions about it? No? Okay. The Resident Assistance Fund, as Dwight mentioned, David mentioned, was approved. I attached Jerry Shaw's email to your packet so that you could see. We have moved ahead with it. The part of it that will be put into a trust, that aspect of it has not been addressed yet, but we are moving ahead with the policy and procedures. We've already helped a few people with issues that we would not been able to help prior to the selectmen and the commission approving the new parameters. So we're very grateful to be able to provide the assistance that our residents truly need. Renovation update. We've been through some of this, but I'll just cap it with the remediation of the ramp, because we all agree that the ramp needs to be renovated or repaired so that we don't have another flood prior to investing the grant money in a renovation. That and the child care's septic issues, which may actually be partly structural and partly a lack of training going on over there. But the concept of overflowing toilets disrupting the renovation downstairs is not a good concept. We really need to, do everything on our part to rectify if it's a septic problem. So building maintenance is replacing the toilets themselves. They had previously been very small toilets for very small people, but they're going to become larger toilets, will less overflow on larger toilets. And then the waste pipe had been addressed for a section of about 10 feet. And now it looks like building maintenance is going to address the other 20 feet of waste line. So what is old pipes that have constricted over years are now going to be replaced with a much larger waste pipe so that the concept of overflow might not happen. We'll hope that Town Hall puts some pressure on the child care center with the next renewal of their lease to say, mandatory training of how you handle bathroom time for the 2-year-olds and 3-year-olds, because, having a new staff member who isn't watching isn't going to help us. We absolutely need them to be responsible neighbors and tenants. And we just can't have overflowing toilets on new flooring and furniture downstairs. You haven't lived till it starts pouring from upstairs. So that is basically building maintenance met with an engineer from Silver Petroselli. They discussed the ramp remediation, the HVAC design, and the septic systems in the child care center. And it is not in our purview at this point, which is fantastic. And we're going to move ahead with plans for both indoor and outdoor renovations. We're hoping to renovate the secret garden, which sits along the parking lot, and the internal courtyard vegetable garden into spaces where seniors can meet outdoors with a retractable awning and tables and flooring so that outdoor space, outdoor programming is just as much a part of the center as indoor. I think if we've learned anything from COVID, it's how important it is to have access to external spaces that are, within the realm of our reach with the staff that we have. So that's an update. I hope I covered everything. I'm just sort of spewing here. The Boy Scout food drive was very successful. I was really, truly concerned about the rain and getting in a lot of soaked food. I think people were very conscious and wrapped things in plastic and did a great job. And the Boy Scouts did a great job. We were here a lot of the day on Saturday, and everything was sorted really well and boxed as much as we could. We had good volunteer help, and weighed. And so it came in at around 3,300 pounds. We got more today. A little bit more was delivered today, but 3,300 pounds with about 200 and 30 pounds of expired food. So, I don't want to tinge the greatness because that's really just such a small part of it. We got in a lot of good food. And as Nancy said, she's got kids coming for community service for sorting, and we have some adults who are going to jump in and get this stuff on the shelves. If you visit Human Services now, you'll see 14 tables in the hallway with carrots and peas and beans and pasta and mac and cheese. So, people are still unaware of what we are and what we do. The Buy Nothing site in Woodbridge on Facebook, a woman posted that she had missed the collection and offered up the food, and a teacher at the school said, sure, we're having a collection in our classroom. And I was able to say, that's great. I'm glad it's going somewhere. But you should know we collect year round and we distribute year round. So anytime anyone has anything, it's, just call us up. This one woman said, I don't want to just clean out my cupboard. I want to buy something for you, which is, it's a fantastic thing. We had a couple of calls from the church on Center Road, Nancy, not Assumption, the other one, Trinity Evangelical, sorry. And the Ladies Guild decided that they would get together and make a donation to each of 5 food pantries that the towns that they all lived in, and asked what we wanted. And I said, gee, this was 2 weeks ago, we really don't have any jams or jellies. And they came with, a dozen jars of jams and jellies. And they liked the concept so much of buying us one thing that the next week they came with a dozen bottles of salad dressing. Things we don't have that, cost a lot and people don't buy for themselves. And so the idea of people calling and saying, hey, what do you really need? It's a nice one. So that's about that. I think I'm done. If there are any questions?
Our meeting schedule.
Oh, right, it's on here, sorry. So sorry about the first one that was sent out, little miscommunication over here, but the second one went out and we will need a vote to approve the 2022 meeting schedule. And we need to approve it in November because the meeting happens December 6th. And then the following meeting, if we approve on December 6th, the following meeting is January 3rd, which is not 30 days. So we approve now and we have our 30-day window to get it posted before the year's meetings.
So we need 2 motions, and we need a motion to accept your report and then a motion to accept, or can that be part of your report?
No, I think you need a motion to approve the calendar and then the whole report after that.
And then okay, perfect. Okay. All right. Who would like to make a motion to accept the Human Services Commission meeting schedule for 2022?
So moved.
Pat? Okay. And a second?
Second.
Who was the second?
Can you
Jen?
hear me, Jennifer?
Oh,
Yes.
Jennifer. Okay.
Yay, we heard you.
Yay, Jen.
All right. Okay. So we have a motion and okay, we'll do a roll call vote. Jen?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Arnie? Arnie?
Yeah,
Yes.
he said yes.
Okay. Viviana?
Yes.
Pat?
Yes.
Lauren?
Yes.
Kathy?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Okay. Now we need a motion to accept Jeanette's very comprehensive Human Services Commission report. Or Human Services report, rather. Excuse me.
Motion to accept.
Okay.
That's
Jen?
Jen.
Yeah. Okay. And a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Viviana? All right. Roll call vote. Jen?
Yes.
Arnie?
Yes.
Viviana?
Yes.
Pat?
Yes.
Lauren?
Yes.
Kathy?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Okay. Next on our agenda is old business, new business. We have none. Next meeting is December 6th, 2021. And if there is no other, if anything to come before this commission right now, then I will need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Pat? A second?
Second.
Arnie? Oh, Jen. Okay, good. Jen's been up. Okay, Jen. All right. You don't mind, Arnie, since Jen wasn't able to speak for so long, we're letting her.
I am thrilled that she has the opportunity to
Okay,
express
great.
herself.
Okay, okay. Jen, roll call vote. Jen?
Yes.
Okay. Arnie?
Yes.
Viviana?
Yes.
Pat?
Yes.
Lauren?
Yes.
Kathy?
Yes.
And myself, yes. Okay.
I think I remember from Robert's rules that the only motion you don't have to vote on is the motion to adjourn. It happens by acclamation, but I could be wrong. And I enjoy hearing you all vote. So
Well. Oh, gosh.
thank
Okay.
you all so much.
Thank you,
Thank
everybody.
you.
Appreciate
Thank
your
you.
time.
Bye.